Welcome to Industry Insights with Route Consultant, your front row seat to the fast-moving world of logistics and beyond. Each week, we bring you game-changing insights, real-world strategies, and fresh perspectives to fuel smarter investments and build stronger businesses. Join us as we sit down with expert guests to explore emerging trends and pressing topics across a wide range of industries. This is Industry Insights. Chad Johnson, VP of Franchise Services at Flowers Foods. It is a pleasure to have you back here today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me back, Josh.
Yeah, and we've talked about, a wide variety of things on the flower side in previous episodes. What I really wanted to do is for anyone who's watching, really trying to figure out, if they want to be an independent distributor with flowers, what's really that process? What does it look like as they're trying to get started? So go to the website. Do I click on something? How do people typically get started here?
So, we get contacted in numerous different ways. One popular way is we do have a website. It's called flowroutes.com, FLOROUTES.com. And a nice thing that's on there is we list all of our company territories that are for sale. So you can go on there, peruse them, see if anything fits into the geography that you'd like to service. And then it just is a matter of contacting someone on our franchise sales team to get more details about the process and what the minimum requirements are, a day in the life, so on and so forth. And I'm sure we'll talk about that today.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's say, what are some of the minimum things, before I ever apply, what are some of the things that you think are kind of, not you think, I know that it's actually a standard, the things that they have to have when they come in?
Yeah. So, let's just say average territory cost $100,000. Okay, we'll just use that as a nice round figure. You're going to have 10% down, so you'd have to have $10,000 down, and you'd have to have 10% operating capital because we all have to plan for those rainy days.
Yeah.
Right. And that's some of the minimum requirements. You are going to have to supply a truck, delivery vehicle, to get something that's obviously reliable and serviceable.
Yep. Okay. So whether you're buying from Flowers directly, a corporate route, or you're buying from somebody who's a Flowers owner selling their routes on their own, that 10% down is typically what's expected. And now I know that this is different from what a lot of people expect and what they may not even know about. Tell me a little bit about how the financing process works differently here than if you're buying a typical business and going through a bank.
Sure. Flowers does have its own financing through a sub-department that we have called FlowFin. So we can finance the territory for you. And obviously, if we do that, then the territory note payment comes out of your weekly settlement.
Yeah. And that's huge for a lot of people, just knowing that, there are going to be people who want to go through their own banks who use a conventional lender if they choose to. But it's really nice to know that if you want to get into this, you need the 10% down, and then there is a financing option there no matter what, essentially. I mean, there's probably going to be requirements on them to get approved for the financing, but it is an in-place arm of financing specifically for these routes.
Yeah, because, that's the, we're only talking about the financial part of it, but, we're going to check your credit score. Yep. You're going to have a driver's license. You're going to have a good driving record. You're going to have to carry insurance. All the normal things that any business would require. And then, you're going to, if this is something you really want to pursue, you're going to need to put together a business plan, and which anybody that's buying a business needs to do that because they have to have a plan on what they are going to do to succeed. Who are their customers? What are the products they're carrying? What is their competitor activity? Who are the retailers that they're servicing? And what do the sales look like now? And how can you improve them? And how do you expect to improve them?
Yeah. So if you're fresh coming in, what are some of the ways you can learn some of these things to build a business plan? Or is it something where you benefit a lot from having some experience in the space?
Well, obviously you're going to benefit if you have that prior knowledge, we have two things that we do. We have a franchise operations team, and what they're for any of the company territory sales, the territories that Flowers owns, we're going to sit down, have about an hour meeting with that interested party, and just walk them through what are you buying?
Yep.
What's a day in the life look like? What's the growth potential? All of the knowledge anybody would want to know with what they're buying. And then what they're also setting you up to do is we're going to have a discovery day. Okay. Let's say after that meeting, you're like, yeah, this sounds interesting. I want to proceed.
Still moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to get you out and be able to check out a territory. So you're going to do a discovery day where you get to see from soup to nuts a day in the life of an independent contractor, or maybe it's one of their employees, right? Because we do have multi-territory owners that aren't out there daily running a territory. They're managing their business or businesses. And so we're going to set you up to say, hey, here's the things you need to look for. These are going to be the things that we're going to be looking for in the business plan. So, here's what I think you should be looking for when you're on your discovery day.
Got it. Okay. So that discovery day is not that they're being quizzed or graded. It's really a chance for that, prospective buyer to just see what it's like and to hopefully take some of the things you've told them to look for, learn on that day, and then turn around and be able to apply it in the next follow-up steps.
Yeah. It's for a very overly simplistic analogy, it's almost like test driving a car, right?
Yeah.
Do I like this car? Is it fast enough? Is it safe enough? Is the soundproofing good? All that stuff, but it's your chance to really, you're not running the territory, but you're seeing somebody else run one, and it lets you know what's going to happen out there on a daily basis.
Yeah. Because there's always a difference between the paper and the conversations you've had, that reality, and then what does a day look like? What are the fun things that happen that you have to learn how to deal with as an owner, that hopefully you'll just get some exposure on that day to really get a better sense of what you can expect.
Yeah, and you're going to be out there, you're going to be able to ask questions too, and really see the nitty-gritty details.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a day, that discovery day. What's next in the process?
So next in the process, again, is do you want to proceed?
Right.
Is this something you're interested in?
Yep.
And if it is, you're then with your franchise salesperson, they're going to request financials, and they're going to ask you to put that business plan together.
Yep.
You're going to obviously give proof that you have the operating capital, that you have the money that you can put down on the purchase, and insurance requirements, things of that nature. And then the next step is you'll go through a process where we review your business plan, and we sit down and talk to you about it. And really, again, you're back with one of the franchise operations coordinators. You're not going to be bounced around. You'll be meeting with the same one that you talked to for that first hour, and they're going to review your business plan with you. And again, make sure that you're setting yourself up and your future business for success.
Yeah, and I think it's important to see that those first few steps, the pre-interview that the franchise hosts, and then the discovery day, those are just gut checks. Those aren't even necessarily evaluations yet. It's just a way for you as a prospective investor to kind of see a few things and decide, okay, does everything still check out? And then if it does, then you get to kind of I've created a business plan. Let's go through it and have more of a formal kind of approval side of the equation.
Yeah.
And so at that point, is that really where they're being, you said you review a business plan. Is that where that is more of a formal approval checkpoint in the process?
It is. That's one of the big approval processes. It's like once you're done having that conversation and going through your business plan, and that operations coordinator and a lot of times the local sales teams, they participate as well, because those are the people that are there to support you on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
They're going to give their opinion too. They know the market and what it takes to be a success.
We've got you're finding the route on the initial side, however long that takes for you to decide to take the first step into bread. But once you've found something you want to go after, you kind of reach out, you go through the initial, kind of reach out process, and then you're going and you're doing the discovery days, the pre-interview, you do the kind of formal evaluation, then the training period after that, and then followed by the closing. What do you typically see that process taking from a timeline perspective?
I mean, we like that to move as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Some of this is contingent upon the buyer. How quickly are they getting the
Following up on the
information
steps.
back to us? With their driver's license, their credit score, their financials. Really, it's a case of the faster you move, we'll match your speed.
Yeah.
And we'd like to see it happen in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
If possible.
Yeah.
But again, there's always certain circumstances of things that go on.
There's all kinds of things that can happen. Yeah, we can talk about a hope, like the timeline we want it to be and that it should be, and then everybody's got their own challenges that can jump in.
That's right. I mean, people have their own circumstances. I'm sure there's a lot of business owners that they're operating another business, but again, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, and I think that makes perfect sense. I think from a growth pathway and kind of a learning pathway, that's enough time to have made a decision and really evaluate if it's the right fit for you. But I think it's a good point as well that the more prepared you can be when you start the process, the faster you're going to move. And it's, so not that you're going to be, going out and running in a truck before you ever even apply, but the more you can gather your resources and even start to think about a business plan and put those things together, the more seamless and smooth the rest of the process will be.
Yeah, and when I'm saying that 6 to 8 weeks, I'm saying you already know what you intend on purchasing,
correct.
Right?
That entry period could be a year.
Right, yeah. Well, and how much time is it going to take you to? You're going to want to look at the financials. Yeah. You're going to want to probably go out on the market and see the retailers and the customers that are on those store or on that territory list. So that's all up to the potential buyer.
Yeah. The financing side that kind of runs in it's happening at the same time in the background. Like there's no separate finance approval process that takes a long period of time after you get approved for the route. That's just all happening on the flower side in the background.
That's correct. So the franchise operations coordinator and the franchise sales team, they're going to handle all of that, all those details. Yeah. And if they have certain boxes that they have to check, and once those boxes are checked, when it goes to the finance department, it will go through.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there's not going to be like that call like, oh, hey, we've got a problem.
Yeah, and that's, we like to say that we work with a lot of banks. We know their process, and we know what you should expect from a bank. But inevitably, there's all kinds of problems that can happen at the finish line with a bank when you're doing a traditional lending arm. So it's great to hear that part, at least, if you kind of check the boxes on the flower side, you're going to be fine on the financing side.
Yeah. And obviously, like you said, there's other ways you can finance it. You can go to a bank, you can go get a small business loan, or you can just buy it.
Yeah. So I think that encapsulates the process for if you're coming in and starting on, your first route. Let's say you're an existing flowers IDP and you want to add a route. And look at that process. How does that change? Is it the same?
It actually doesn't change.
Okay.
It's the exact same. You think it's just as important to see that business plan, if not even maybe more important for somebody that's now venturing into multi-territory ownership. What is your business plan? How are you moving from being a single owner to maybe purchasing 2 or 3 or 4 more territories? What does your corporate structure look like? What does your employee structure look like? How what does your fleet structure look like? Everything from soup to nuts.
Yeah, and I think that's 100% the right way to think about it. For however many routes you're adding, each of that is a higher level of responsibility, and the business plan and how you're thinking about preparing for this is even more important than that first one. So you don't just get to say, I've been doing this for 10 years, it'll be easy, because there's a lot of complexity that if you just tried to go in blind and add a route and just be like, I've done this once, I can do it twice, you're probably going to hurt yourself more than anything if you just think it's going to be kind of duplicating what you've done before. There are things that you have to think through from a structure, from a fleet, a contingency standpoint that as you grow, are different problems and you've got more scale to solve them. But if you don't plan for how to solve them, then you've just got more problems. So it is important to really think through what that business plan looks like as you get bigger.
Right, because, you could be great at merchandising and servicing and selling and operating your business and managing your business. But then you start adding to it and you add in employees and that adds complexity. So then you have to be a good leader as well. So it really starts touching on all the facets of someone who is, and I just use the word, but someone who's a good leader and can really run the gamut for every single touch point in the business to be successful.
Yeah, your individual operational skills are important, but they become less important. And the overarching, can I run a business skills get more and more important the larger you grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, are there scenarios or would it even be possible? Could you come in and apply for multiple at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
You could say, I'm coming in here and I'm buying 7 territories, and it's show us the business plan.
Exactly.
How are you going to succeed? What is your plan?
Yeah. It's not something that's ruled out, but at the same time, if you're coming in with 7, you got to be able to explain how you plan on doing it and building the plan and having the resources, or at least a plan on how to secure those resources before stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is an encouraging prospect for, when we talk about a lot of people who are looking at this space, I think some people write off, bread ownership because they're like, I don't want to drive the truck. They're like, that's not my 10-year plan, is to be in a bread truck. It is something where you'll learn a lot if you're actually the one driving, but you can create businesses in this industry where you are still focusing on running, a variety of routes, and you're not the one in the truck every day. Doesn't mean you're not involved in the business. Nobody's pretending this is mailbox money. This should be something where you should be involved. But this is something where an independent entrepreneur can come in and really, roll up their sleeves and be successful by creating a business at scale in this industry.
Yeah, again, kind of what you're alluding to, it's not rocket science, but you have to have some business fundamentals. You got to know a little bit about consumer packaged goods. You got to know a little bit about direct store delivery and what it takes to be successful. But no, you don't need to be out there running a territory every single day. Does it help to know what's going on? Absolutely. That's any business, right? You've got to know what your employees are doing so you can properly manage them and set them up for success.
Yep, that's 100% right. Yeah, and I think that is a picture that I know that a lot of investors don't really understand, that huge opportunity there. And I think even a lot of independent distributors in your own network, or even in, any bread network, don't even realize that that's still an opportunity for them. I think it's just an ingrained mindset of what this space was without realizing all of the opportunity that it can be. Yeah. So I think more to come there. And I think there's a lot of exciting things, both in everything that I've heard you all talk about in the way that you think about the future of this model and the confidence that you have in it, but also the support that you provide for it. That if I was an investor looking to get into this space, I would have, just like I said, a lot of confidence that I'm going to be supported by a company that wants to do right by me and wants to make it work, because it's in the best benefit of everyone. For Flowers to be successful, the IDPs have to be successful, and it's the way the model works.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you just can't leave off the powerhouse brands. I mean, it's just
you're not operating in a vacuum. You get Flowers.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so many times I've come through my tenure. I've come to say, I work for Flowers Foods, and they're like, "What is that? I don't know what that is." But then you start explaining the brands: the Nature Zone, the Dave's Killer Bread, the Wonder, the Canyon Bakehouse, the TastyKake, and they're like, "Oh, that's y'all.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah, that's great." But then you've also, like we talked about, people are going to buy bread. Yep. This isn't something that people say, I can do without that. People need to eat.
Yeah, and that's just an American staple.
Yes.
and so It is. It's one of those things like we've talked about. This is a recession-proof industry that is, it's just a part of intrinsic demand. People are always going to get it, and no matter what happens, bread's going to still be here. And so, being a part of one of the largest brands in the country and having access to not just a variety of brands across different subcultures of food, but also having having access to a team that's working to stay ahead of those trends and adapt products so that you're prepared. I think that's the value of that is immeasurable as an independent.
Exactly. I couldn't sum it up any better. How long have you been with Flowers?
Perfect. Well, Chad, I appreciate you being here. Honestly, your insight and kind of your passion that I've seen talking about this space has been enthusiastic. It's been encouraging for me to just see how you all view the space. And I think anybody who's looking at it would understand and feel the same way.
Well, we're excited. Hopefully this educates some people on who we are and what the opportunity is, and really appreciate the time in the studio.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Chad. Hopefully you have a good trip back.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh.
See ya.